Hello, everyone. It is another podcast episode. I used to have a schedule with these. Now I just kind of do them when I do them. But we are here again. I am JeffCompass, joined by two gamers. So please introduce yourselves.
Well, I'm Dex, a 513, if you will. I do a lot of Mario Sunshine. I'm on that side of Jeff's friend group. And yeah, I don't do anything really YouTube related. I have thought about making YouTube videos a lot, but it just never happens. So that's me.
And I'm NinjastarCompass. I'm a professional Jeff Compass impersonator, as you'll probably know. Uh, anyway, I claim to make YouTube videos, but I never upload, so I think I'm just a hack, actually.
I
So
mean, I as of this podcast, I have not uploaded in like 4 months. So,
damn.
oops. But we'll get videos out soon. We're getting videos out soon. But Dex is from the SMS side of town. Going with the trend of the last 3 videos, having an SMS guest. You might notice that Cardano is not with us today.
It's because
I
he got
have
kicked out of
fired
the group.
him.
Yeah, we hate
Yeah.
him, and
He wasn't cool enough.
so he's
No,
gone.
no,
Yeah.
but in reality, this is a Pikmin 4 themed podcast, as you can probably tell by the branding of this video. And he has not played even Pikmin 3. And I was like, hey, you could be in this video if you want, but like, I assume you probably don't want to be spoiled. He's like, yeah, it's chill. So Cardino's fired. We all are canceling him. No, I was joking.
Yeah, I hate that guy.
Anyway, we'll start this off with our usual 5 minute. I always say 5 minute, but we always talk longer. But
Yeah.
firstly, what have you guys been playing recently? I'll start with
Oh.
Dex.
I've been playing a lot of this game called Super Mario Sunshine, the Nintendo GameCube.
Never heard
Uh,
it.
the bingo side of the community is kind of popping off, so it's fun to do that.
Yeah.
Last summer, I played a lot of Pac-Man World 2 as well. Also speedrunning. I don't play a ton of new games. I
Have
did
you
play
heard?
Pikmin 4 though.
Have you heard that game's not as good as you remember?
Oh, that sounds really familiar.
I also played that game a lot last summer. Yeah, it didn't end that well for me in terms of how the internet
Oh.
took that video.
You
alright.
can tell. You can tell he's a fake fan because he used the Smash Bros. Render in the thumbnail.
Yeah,
While
yeah,
in the
probably.
thumbnail.
Calling
That-
him out on his podcast? Dang, crazy.
I think we could do it. We could do this another time. I think I could do a whole podcast on the video, honestly. Like, or maybe I do a commentary on it at some point. I think there is potential for that. But that's for another day. Ninja, what have you been playing recently?
If we're going off of what I played since the last podcast, I can't remember. All I know is that I beat Tears of the Kingdom finally, and then I got back into Dragon Quest 11 because I'm trying to beat that game, and I got more into GTA 4. So I'm also trying to beat that game. Outside of that, basically just Metroid Prime because I'm doing a Metroid Prime video. So that's been like my entire life at that point.
Yeah.
So that will be finished one day, hopefully. Outside of, oh wait, I also played all the Sega games. All right, that's kind of unrelated, but I did play a lot of Sega reboots, and they were of mixed quality, mostly good though. So that was a fun time.
That's
I
cool.
thought you said all the Sega games at first. I was like, all of them.
I played
What
every
the-
Sega game ever made. I did it in a week. It's pretty cool.
That'd be a cool video, like ranking every second.
That would never be finished. Actually, this might be a bit of a spoiler, but a video I might do one day is doing a video on the top 20 rarest Wii games because they're like literally so wild. So
In
yeah.
terms of what I've been playing, Pikmin 4 basically has all I've been playing for the past 2 months. I finally beat it like 2 weeks ago, and that's why we're doing this podcast. I have been very backlogged. I've also been playing a lot of SMS Bingo because people have been doing it again, and I like playing that game. And yeah, that's been a bit of a revival on that end. It's just an easy thing for me to play, right? Like, it's like, I know it's, if I do like a non-lockout, it's only going to take me like an hour, as opposed to like if I start like an RPG for the night, I'm like, all right, well, I'm never going to beat this game. So that's a little bit of the reason why I've been gravitating towards SMS. But on top of that, I've also been playing, I finally finished Xenoblade Chronicles 3 DLC. I'm not going to talk about it now because I probably will make a video on that. It'll be years from now but it'll happen. And plus, I don't want to spoil Ninja. And also, Dex has no context of anything, so I don't want to be talking.
Yeah, maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
I kind of want to get around to Xenoblade one day, but like also there's just so many RPGs that take so long.
It's really sad when the Xenoblade dies. Whatever, I don't know. Making up fake spoilers.
When Shulk arrives at the McDonald's and they're all out of Xenoblades, it's a really sad moment in the franchise.
Yeah, sad moment. I did beat 1
You can
and
get those at
3.
McDonald's? Is it like with a Happy Meal?
I wish.
I wish.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not popular enough as a franchise.
I would recommend 1 and 3. I would not recommend 2 though, because it's 2. That's all I have to say.
I want to beat 2 before I get to that opinion.
I do want to beat 2, but it would be on the easy mode.
Anyway, so that's what we've been playing. We'll do our 5-minute segment on what we've been working on, and that doesn't have to just be YouTube videos. So it's just like anything creative you want to talk about. Because all the guests have not been YouTubers, and I kind of like it that way. I kind of like how we've been doing that, because it's like a lot of podcasts have like all these YouTubers, and it's cool to kind of just get another side of gaming. Like I feel like it kind of brings something unique. So Dex, what have you been working on in terms of like creative projects recently?
I've been kind of like flailing around. Like there was a point like 2 weeks ago that I was like thinking about trying to get better at drawing, because that's something I've been wanting to do for a while. And then like a week ago, I was thinking, maybe I could make a YouTube video for the 100th time, which it was about a very niche jet ski video game called Splashdown. But then my footage got messed up.
Isn't that the game that has? Well, I'm gonna list like the most. I was gonna list like the most obscure ass pop punk group ever made. So you don't know, man. I'm pretty sure it's in that game now.
But yeah, other than that, I guess I've been moderating Super Mario Sunshine channels and keeping up on leaderboards. I don't know if that's creative, but
I count it.
That counts.
You're good. Yeah, good stuff. Ninja, you have the floor.
I already kind of said mine, so.
Yeah, that's fair. So I've been saying to people on Twitter and stuff. Now, what's funny is I literally, before this podcast started, I just tweeted a thread, like, about my YouTube plans. And by the time this video comes out, like, it'll be out probably in a few days on my Patreon. But in terms of, like, when this podcast comes out, I want it to come out alongside the Pikmin 4 video. Because I really don't want to, like, have this video out. And a lot of people are like, okay, well, now I know what he thinks about this game. And then no one watches the video. So, basically right now I'm working on the Pikmin 4 video. And I'm starting small projects, which I will be having paying Ninja to edit. So that way I can actually upload again. Because I want my channel to do well. And I've just been a little low on time recently. So, working on the channel revival right now. It's been... like, getting the channel running again has been more work than making videos in a way, but we're getting there. We're getting there, and I'm excited that we'll have videos out soon, like next few weeks probably. But at the time you're watching this, that video I'm saying is coming out in the next few weeks is probably out already. So that's one problem with releasing these videos like 3 months after we record them. But, what are you going to do?
Complain.
And, true. You could complain. That is what the comment section is for. You have freedom of speech, so everyone feel free to roast me. Do it right now.
Is the comment section here just like the chat, the Discord chat? Just start angrily typing throughout this talk.
I meant when people like watch this video,
I know, but
it's like start typing like, I hate you, Jeff. You failure.
You failure. Yeah. Anyway, I guess that's where we're at with this. I guess we could talk about a game called Pikmin 4 now.
What?
Yeah. So where do we want to start this discussion? Because there's a lot of... See, the thing is, like with a discussion like this, I think the hardest part is starting it off. But once we start talking about it, we're gonna be on a roll. So
what's
up?
I was gonna say what's the easiest thing to start with first? Like the graphics.
The types of Pikmin, or
the title. Let's talk about the title. It's a good title. Just kidding. I guess types of Pikmin is a good start. Yeah.
All right. Well, we have red, yellow, and blue. But Dex, what did you think about the new Pikmin? What do you think about? Okay, we'll open the floor. What do you guys think about Ice Pikmin and Glow Pikmin?
Okay. So, ice Pikmin are just kind of broken, I think. But
Yeah,
in
okay,
this
that's exactly
game,
what I was gonna say.
it's not exactly a hard game. There's a lot of other things that kind of break the game. So, it's not too egregious. Um, I like how they look. They're kind of cute.
They are.
I like their functionality in puzzles. I think that's very creative. We have to like freeze the ice in order to go across it. But like if you have blue Pikmin, you still have to get the treasure from underneath the ice. I think that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. And you can freeze some enemies if they're in the water.
Which is what makes them broken. But
They are very broken. And I guess that's kind of the elephant in the room. I think we all just want to talk about that. This game is really, really easy. And so here's the question, because this is going to be the thesis of my video, basically, and a very, very prominent discussion. Is Pikmin 4 too easy? Yes or no?
yes,
Yeah.
that's my opinion. I'm less confident yet.
I think there was less of a focus on making enemies difficult, but I did like how they incorporated like the challenge mode into the story mode and kind of focused on like time trials more. So I think kind of getting platinum, like the platinum medals, that's kind of where most of the difficulty comes from, even if it's not insanely hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know Ninja got all the platinum medals. Did you get all the platinums, Dex?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm the only one here who is not.
Yeah, the only
so
fake gamer in the room. Can't believe it.
I've gotten most of them, but I didn't go for the ones in the super. Okay, by the way, everyone watching, this is a spoiler. It's probably be a spoiler video. So in the Sage trials, I have not even come close to platinuming everything, but I think mostly everything else I've platinumed. I think like 90% of the other stuff. That's just because I just needed to get my gameplay done so I could work on the video, but I will go back to platinum them at some point. So that is true. That is one of the things I talk about in the video. I'll probably be referencing the video a lot because it's fully written as of this point. I've recorded like 20 minutes of audio already.
Yeah.
It
I guess piggybacking on difficulty, like a lot of the enemies are from Pikmin 2 or 3, so us who have played all the games probably just, steam through
that much, but yeah.
or yeah, allowed to. But we kind of steamroll through all the enemies because we already know how to deal with them. But it would be nice if there were some newer enemies. There were some new enemies, but I don't think there were as much as maybe other games.
There were a few, but they were basically just like Ochi enemies, right? Like enemies that were just like you needed to ram into them. We'll talk about Ochi in a second. But yeah, so here's the thing, right? So there's the water wraith cave in the game. And I don't know if you guys spawn the water wraith that often, but I barely did. And I couldn't decide if it was like, okay, is this game just too easy, which it is, but then I really thought about it and I was like, I think as a kid, I would have probably had the same issues with the water wraith cave in Pikmin 4 as I did in Pikmin 2. And just because I knew to be on the lookout, I was just optimizing and playing a lot better. I don't know if you guys had that same experience with that cave.
Yeah, there's after the first 4, when I had spawned once, I literally just like restarted it like 4 times just to get not spawn. So
Yeah.
yeah, it might just be experience on that one, making that cave a little bit easier.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to get at with my little monologue there. I think, yeah, I do like in that cave there was the Bulbman reference with but there's no actual Bulbman, so
I thought that was really funny. I think I sent that as a DM to Ninja like I was playing the game and I literally just paused and I was like, oh my god, it's the Bulbman. Fun fact, and I guess we could talk about this a little later, but in terms of like lore implications, but there is a Piclopedia entry in this game where Olimar does reference Bulbman. I don't know how many of you caught it. I don't know if anyone besides me read the Bulbapedia. But at one point, Olimar does reference Bulbman. And like I know we're talking about gameplay right now. We'll talk about lore in a second. That has huge lore implications that we'll get to. That's kind of a problem.
Interesting.
But we'll get to that. Yeah, I like the Water Wraith Cave. I think it was a little derivative of Pikmin 2. Like the first like 3 floors are literally the same thing.
Yeah. Like I thought it was kind of cute, but
It was cute.
also I don't know, it'd be nice to have something new. Also, my experience with that cave is that I beat the final cave before I beat the Water Wraith cave, so I knew it was gonna be there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. So that was like the only like outright throwback cave. There was a bread bug cave, but like the floors were like entirely different. Um, Other than that, I like the cave. What did you guys think about the caves? I thought they were like really well designed. I thought they had a lot. I think the caves are the best part of the game. I don't know if I'm alone in that, but
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I do feel like twos were a lot more chaotic. Now, whether that's a good thing or not is, obviously up for debate. But I do feel like they don't have as much of like the I'm gonna enter the cave and just like actually, you're not really as terrified with enter a cave in 4. It's just kind of like, yep, it's another cave. But when 2, you're like, oh, I don't want to enter this cave. Man, like it's a bit of a different vibe. But that's more so just the Pikmin 4 being easy thing, less than it being like an actual issue.
Yeah, and I think on average the caves were a little shorter. I might be wrong on that, but that's how it felt to me.
At Pikmin
They
2,
were.
there are caves that are like 10 bazillion floors. Well, like I think the max they go to outside of like very late game is like 5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like the
just-
last cave in 4 was kind of jarring because it was twice as long as any other cave. And it's like,
I
It
like
was
that. I kind of
really long.
yeah.
I wish more caves like that in 4. Honestly, it was probably
I
my
like
biggest
that,
like
yeah.
genuine. It's I don't know. I like the caves being like stupidly long in 2 to some degree, but that's just me.
I do like
Yeah,
that.
because then you have to actually like care about Pikmin dying, and then it's more about that than like any time thing. But yeah.
That was one thing with the caves, and I think I write this in my review as like kind of a positive, but you don't really have to worry about running out of Pikmin now, and because you find tons of Pikmin while playing these caves. Like I'd say on average in every floor, it's fair to assume you'll like run across like 5 to 10 Pikmin, like whether that be in vases. Sometimes they'll be like in little grass patches that you need to pluck. And I think that makes the caves not as stressful. Because in Pikmin 2, right, like you enter a cave and maybe you'll find Bullman, maybe you'll find the Queen Candy Pop Buds, but you're really not guaranteed that. Like you got to go in and really be aware that your number is going to shrink and shrink and shrink. And in this game, you really don't have that issue. At least that's how I felt.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. They always give you, like, if there's a certain Pikmin type you need, they like almost always give it to you. And yeah, I just remember in Pikmin 2, one of the caves in the Wistful Wild, there's like you need 15 or 20 blue Pikmin on one of the treasures, like near the end, and yeah, they always make it really easy for you to 100% in one go through, which I like. I think that's good. I know we were talking about it being too easy of a game, but I think I don't know. Accessibility, is that a word? I don't know.
It is accessible. Yeah. Now here's the question though. We all agree it's easy. I guess the question would be, did it hurt your experience with the game? And if it did, how much?
What specifically are we talking about again? I'm sorry.
Did the easiness like hurt your experience of the game? Like we agree it's easy, right? We all agree it's easy. Did it hurt your experience with the game? And if it did, how much did it hurt the experience for you?
I think it did. I would say a decent amount. I would say a good like I don't know. If we're going off of like a number scale, I'd give it like an 8 out of 10 instead of like a 10 out of 10, just because of the difficulty. I feel like Pikmin at its core was always survival horror to some extent. Like in Pikmin 1, like you can't really screw around at all, and the whole day system. I feel like the whole point was that you were supposed to actually think about what you were doing. Apply strategy to the world around you, because it was supposed to be like you struggling on a planet to get home. That was the whole point. And that's why I will defend the caves of Pikmin 2 to some extent, because I feel like them being as hard as they are is somewhat tied into that. It's just their way of doing it rather than having like the day system. Now, obviously, those caves are a lot more janky and badly designed, but like, the point is, you need to like you're on your toes. There's tension involved. you feel the stakes of whether or not you want to live or die. But in 4, that doesn't really exist at all. And that could even be partially due to like the fact that you're in like a squad instead of just being like, Olimar on a planet alone, So it's just kind of like, oh, I'm just doing a good old stroll by, because I'm already like have 10 times the amount of sparkle I need to live, so whatever, Like, so the fact that it's easy just kind of removes all that tension, and to me it makes it a lot more of like a kind of cozy, relaxing game, which I feel like isn't really what Pikmin's supposed to be going for, which is why I feel like it has less of an impact on me as a result.
Mhm.
But that's just
Yeah, I
me.
think like the overworld was like slightly less interesting. Um,
Yeah.
the Dandori like challenges were the most interesting to me just because I had to try. I couldn't just like walk around without thinking much. I also became a lot more interested in like just like what kinds of Pikmin there would be and I don't know, like collectible things like that. Is
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I I find it a very hard position to take. I have this theory, okay? I have this theory that every Pikmin game, for some reason, just needs to have a fatal flaw. I'm not saying it's a good thing. It's not. I mean, maybe not fatal flaw, but every Pikmin game has a flaw, right? Like Pikmin 1, it was very short, and you could argue it was a bit glitchy. Now, that the glitchiness I've heard has kind of been fixed a little bit with various, like the newest version is not as glitchy, so that's good. Pikmin 2, the caves were too chaotic, I think. A little too chaotic, even though I kind of like them. Pikmin 3, I think, is too linear, personally. And Pikmin 4, the flaw is it's just really easy. But that is a very bad flaw to have, because it does work against like the point of Pikmin. It's I think it's interesting because I don't know how much you guys picked up on this. I guess we can transition into this. Did you guys know that this game is like a reboot of the franchise? Were you aware of that?
Yeah, I
I was.
pieced that
Yeah.
together.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure this is not Pikmin 4 as much as it's like Pikmin Revival or whatever. I have a theory, right, that Pikmin 4, that was like the Wii U game, right, that Miyamoto announced infamously. I'm pretty sure that's an entirely different game than what this is, like entirely. And I
That would make sense. Yeah.
and we can confirm that because apparently, so this Pikmin 4 runs off of Unreal Engine, whatever number. Sorry, I'm not
4, I think it's
4.
4, but I'm not confident in that.
This game runs off of Unreal Engine 4, right? Which would not have been possible on the Wii U. It just wouldn't have. So, well, we're gonna go into the lore discussion, and this is basically just gonna be me nerding out for a second, and I want to hear your guys' reaction on it because I assume I'm the only one who's done this much of a deep dive into the lore. Because there's like in the video there's like a 5-page discussion on this. It's like 10 minutes of the video. So from what I can gather, Pikmin 4 essentially takes place where Pikmin 1 was in the timeline.
I agree with that.
This is Pikmin 4, next is Pikmin 2, then is Pikmin 3. Pikmin 3, the events of Pikmin 3 are implied to have not happened yet in this game. So there's like 3 NPCs you rescue they look like Pikmin 3 captains, but they're not. And they tell you, oh, we're about to have a food crisis and stuff like that. So the Kopai crisis has not happened yet. And then there's a log where Olimar has said like, it would be so crazy if Louis ate all the pick carrots. It's a crazy dream I had. Implying that Pikmin 2 has not happened yet. So it's odd. It's odd to me. I don't know how you guys feel about that. This is essentially Pikmin 1.
Yeah, I thought of it kind of as just like a continuation of the bad ending of Pikmin 1, but like slightly different.
It kind of is, right? Like, especially because there's the Olimar side adventure, right? And
Yeah,
we see
I
that
did like
bad
that.
ending. Yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on that? We're jumping all around, but also it's a Jeff Co podcast, so you knew that was gonna happen anyway.
Yeah.
I like that there were no ice and purple Pikmin readily available,
Oh
like
yeah,
the main game.
It was literally just the main free types, which is pretty cool.
I am willing to say that the Olimar side adventure might be my favorite part of the game.
It's a fun part of the game. It's definitely the most Pikmin feeling of the entire game. Even then, it's still kind of like, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I heard some other like YouTube videos. Some of them like actually had trouble with this part, and I think I cleared each level in about 2 days, so I didn't have too much trouble.
It's
But
because you're a fake gamer.
no,
Nah, I like that part. That was a nice little surprise. Deep into the game. Pretty cool. I appreciate it personally.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Here's the thing. The fact that there is Olimar side adventure, I think pretty much confirms Pikmin 1. It's weird, because it's basically like Pikmin 1 is the Olimar adventure, right? And then Pikmin 4, like everything else that takes place, is like Pikmin 1.5. Like it's everything that takes place before 2. And I was having a discussion with someone yesterday, and I was like, is there even a word for what this kind of storytelling narrative is? I don't think so. Like, it's not a reboot, necessarily. Because if Pikmin 2 and 3 take place after Pikmin 1, it's not, like, I don't know. I'm very...
There might literally be a Pikmin timeline now, and I think that's what you have to accept.
like the Legend of Zelda official timeline.
Yeah.
It blows my mind that like this is like one of Nintendo's like most simple franchises in terms of like, story. And I don't mean the Pikmin games don't have any like meaning to them. I'm not saying they're not deep. Pikmin 1 is very deep. I mean in terms of just like it's Pikmin 1, it's Pikmin 2, it's Pikmin 3. Hey Pikmin probably isn't canon.
I mean Sparkly, I'm just saying.
But, story-wise, it's just like a side thing. Like Mario doesn't have a timeline, right?
We need to create a Mario timeline.
I don't know if you could. I don't know if there's
Shouts
enough.
to the Sonic timeline, including Monkey Ball. That's my favorite. That's my that timeline.
Does it?
There's a meme where after Mania, it's either Forces or Blitz HD.
I don't know anything about Sonic, but what did you all think about Louie in this game?
Louis was just Louis to me. I don't know. I didn't really notice anything off. He was just kind of goofy Louis. I don't know.
Louis is a jerk, is my opinion.
Yeah, he's kind of a jerk.
Like,
Yeah.
I think it's funny because I think no one likes Louis. I really like Louis is just like this force in the Pikmin universe that is just a separate entity than every other captain. He's almost like a glitch in the Matrix, right? Like if you look at every other Pikmin captain, everyone's all like cheery, everyone's all like, working together. And then there's Louis, who's like tried to kill Olimar twice, essentially. And what's weird to me is he never suffers any ramifications for it. They're just like, oh,
Yeah,
Louis, you were a stallion, So
Yeah, I think in Pikmin 2, like Olimar left Louie behind, and then it's kind of like a little more. His motivations aren't clear as to like was it intentional that he's like, controlling the spider or whatever. But in this game, he's just like kind of like an asshole.
Yeah.
I think the ramifications of Louis' character, if you consider this to be Pikmin 1 now, don't make any sense, because there's an argument to be made where it's like Louis just went crazy in Pikmin 2 because he was like on the planet for so long, he kind of just went insane, which could happen. I mean, genuinely, if you're on that planet alone, like there's reports of like people who are like in forests just completely like never being able to be like, if they get lost in the wilderness, they might not be able to be reintegrated with society. Like it's a true phenomenon. So you could make an argument in Pikmin 2 where it's like, okay, Louis was like never really that much of a jerk, but he went insane, and that's why he tried to kill Olimar. Now with this game, I really have no clue. Honestly.
Yeah, that was basically just Louis was playing it from the start,
Now Louis is just like an ass, to be honest.
Yeah.
I also did see a meme. It's like the calling HR meme with the handsome guy and like the less handsome looking guy, and it was Like the handsome guy was the sage. He's like, I just want to stay on this planet and live by myself. And they're like, oh, that's so sweet. And then it's like Louis, I just want to stay on this planet by myself. It's like, HR.
Yeah. We should talk about the Sage, the conspiracy theory about the Sage.
I don't know if there is a conspiracy
Because there's nothing, because
theory.
there's no theory you can make about it. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't think it's anyone. I'm pretty sure the Sage, like, at first I really wanted it to be the president. I really was hoping it would just be the president.
The Sage would imply that they sent someone that wasn't Ulmer to that planet first, or for some reason.
I
Or was
don't know
it
who
was
the
it
Sage
still
is
an
supposed to be.
asteroid? Was the asteroid canon to 4-2? I don't remember. I think it was.
But here's the thing with these lore implications, right? Here's the problem. There are a lot of contradictions. So, Olimar finds, like, when he finds purple and white Pikmin in Pikmin 2, he treats them as if they're a new type. Now, could you argue that Olimar himself never ran into purple and white Pikmin in Pikmin 4? Maybe you could argue that, but it's like, would he have never heard from another captain? Like, he would have known purple and white Pikmin existed. You know, that's what I'm trying to say here. So the fact that
Because he goes to their camp and there's the onion with all the different.
Yeah, and it's like, I think he even is the person writing the logs. Like, when you find each Pikmin, it has like a little tutorial, right? Is that correct? I could be wrong on that. Like, a little, like,
Yeah.
So that screws up the Pikmin timeline. Olimar knows what Bulbmin are in the Piclopedia, despite Bulbmin not being in this game. So he's been to the planet before.
My conspiracy theory about the Sage is that the Sage went there before Ulmer did, and he's the reason why Pikmin interact with Ulmer naturally. It's because he taught Pikmin how to be Pikmin. That's my ninja conspiracy theory. As to why there's randomly a Sage there that's like 10 billion years old. I don't know. That's the only good thing I can think of. Outside of that, I got nothing. Yeah. The Bulbmin paradox.
Bulbmin paradox. I don't know. And there's little things like that just confuse me. And like there's I forget which Piclopedia log it was, but there was another one where it was like Olimar said he crash landed on this planet before.
That's a plot hole.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
Oh yeah, I think some people also on Twitter I looked at and they're like, this game takes place between 2 and 3 because it says he's been here before, and I don't buy that, but it's interesting at the least.
And I guess I just don't know why they did this. I don't know why they retconned. At very minimum, they retconned Pikmin 1. At a very minimum. I guess I just don't understand the motivation for doing so. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Like, why?
It could be
why did
part
they
of
do
the.
this?
It could be part of Pikmin 4 being Goo Goo Baby Easy. They just wanted to like reset the timeline so it wasn't like intimidating to new players or something. That makes no sense because they could literally just make it a continuation without it being confusing.
Yeah, they also did like re-release Pikmin 1 and 2, which,
Like 2 seconds ago.
which was kind of funny because like
So-
the Olimar story is like Pikmin 1 again, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like, well, you can pay $50 for it in how many days from now? Okay, I'm not gonna name a number because it'll be funny, but yeah, soon.
I don't. I guess it's just you guys like oh, you guys can play the entire Pikmin trilogy now right before you play 4. So why? Like if the story's completely different, why? Like I mean, it's fun. They're fun games. That's motivation.
That's like if they're
like,
released like the Metro Prime trilogy and 4 had nothing to do with it. It's just like a card game or something. It's like, okay, thank you.
So ultimately, I think what this means is Pikmin has evolved into like a multi-dimensional like time loop. That's the only conclusion I can really come to. Is like this is just some. There's like 2 splits in like the matrix of Pikmin. One is like Pikmin 1, which leads into Pikmin 2 and Pikmin 3. And the other is Pikmin 4, which leads into Pikmin 2 and Pikmin 3. And that is all I can conclude.
Yeah, I don't think Nintendo cares Well, I think if you read the Picklepedia, they do care a little bit about the story, but I think like to some degree they're just like, okay, we're gonna tell the story about saving Olimar, and then that's that, and we're gonna think about all the ramification later, and I don't know.
See, I think the only thing that really bothers me is just the fact that they called this game Pikmin 4.
The thing that annoys me is that Nintendo just always wants you to save Omar for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. I think it's a
Like,
Miyamoto decision, honestly.
why don't you just play as Omar at that point? Like, I don't get it. But Ninja, the character creator, it's so immersive. You can play as someone that definitely looks like you in the Pikmin universe.
What do you think about
Yeah.
the character creator, Dex? What did you think about
It was cute. Oh,
Yeah. I never thought that I needed a character creator in my Pikmin game, but I don't know. It was a neat little touch.
I liked it, but I feel like it kind of just made it so your character had literally no character development the entire game, which I feel like was not
Oh,
really
I
a good
love it when they
trade-off.
gave you the two options, and one of them was always copy that.
Yeah, Pokemon does
And
that too. A lot of games these days do that. I don't know why.
and I feel like it would have been better if you just played as like a new character that actually had like a personality and a story. Like the character creator is cute, but I feel like it would have made more sense if it was like a multiplayer mode or something, rather than it being like the main
Yeah.
game. But that's just me. I don't know. It's like, wow, you get to play as
Oh,
no name. Who knows who you are? Great.
talking about multiplayer, I thought they would add some kind of multiplayer to this game besides
I'm right.
rock throwing,
All
the
right, all
star
right.
bit shooting.
I'm ready for Jeff's rant. I'm just gonna gear up now. All right.
That was in Pikmin 3, right? But they just dropped it here
Well,
again.
here's the
I
thing.
don't know.
Here's the thing, right? It was in
I'm
3
very
Deluxe.
sorry.
It was not
Yeah,
in base.
that's what I meant. Yeah.
And that's fine. I understand that people liked it in 3 Deluxe, and it was a good feature. You know, it's a nice thing to have. But I do think Twitter specifically has like kind of forgotten that it was just an addition to 3 Deluxe, and they're like
I
treating
can't
it
believe
like it was
Pikmin 4 didn't
impaired.
have 4-player online co-op MMO capabilities. What the heck, guys? Bad game? Like literally stuff I've seen on Twitter.
My opinion is it's valid to have wanted it. It's valid to think the co-op was not enough, but I don't think it like I don't consider it a flaw with the game. Like I've seen a lot of tweets that are like they'll like point negatives out and they'll like list it as one of the biggest flaws. And I'm like, is it?
Yeah.
You could debate
To
it.
me, it's definitely very nitpicky. It's like I can't believe this game didn't have MMO, 4-player, multiplayer, co-op. Like, not every game needs that. Like, literally, only Pikmin 3 had that. Like,
Yeah.
what you could argue, and what I would argue, is that it should have had something like the challenge mode from 2, which had co-op capabilities. Like the Dandori stuff could have had some kind of like multiplayer variant. Like
Mhm.
even free had like the multiplayer Dandori challenge. I don't know if you can do like the normal Dandori stuff. Actually, I haven't played the multiplayer. But,
Yeah,
like even a challenge mode from free, a lot of that you could argue that would be a pretty fair critique. When many people are like, how come I can't just play the entire game multiplayer? It's like what? Like I don't know. It feels like kind of dumb to me personally, but that's just me.
Yeah. So I think it's fair to have for some people to want it, but I think
yeah.
I think
It's not like
listen,
a necessity, but it would have been nice, I think, if they could have.
Yeah.
what I'll say is I think if this was on any other console with more power, they probably would have gone for it. I think the problem is this game is on the Switch, which is not great hardware anymore.
It doesn't even run at like 720. I don't know why people expected online multiplayer.
I guess let's talk about that. Here's kind of a question. Do you think the Switch hardware is kind of holding this game back in any sort of way?
Yes. And
Yeah.
it's more so in just like it kind of runs a bit like trash. Not like that bad, but like it's a very blurry game. Like, it could have looked a lot better. I don't know. That could just be an Unreal Engine thing, but I also just don't even know why to even use the Unreal Engine. To be honest, I don't see any motivation to use it. That's like the one thing I don't understand. Why it shows that specifically, but because the Switch
Yeah.
isn't really known for being great at running Unreal 4, so.
I don't know if it's necessarily a Switch limitation, but I kind of wish there was like another level or two, just because I don't know. Like at the end of the game, once you have like all the castaways, you get your like pup drive, and you get like the Ochi rush charge that you never actually get to use because
Yeah,
that's
so we beat
like
the
at the
entire
end of
game
the
at that
game,
point.
and like the white and purple onions. I never really got to use them just because that's what I did last. Yes.
I actually literally went out of my way to tell Jeff about that, without telling him directly to do all more stuff first because I wanted to have the onions like wait to the final area because I realized I literally didn't have them at all.
Yeah, because here's the thing. So I think the purple onions were a good workaround for the fact that there was another treasure that required 100 purple Pikmin. For one, I can't believe they did that again. They were very obsessed with this game in terms of like reusing Pikmin 2 moments, which I don't know how I feel about. But they're like, oh, here's the engulfed castle. Here's bread bugs again. There's a lot of Pikmin 2. Here's a halfway credits scene, and then of course I should have known they were gonna do another treasure. And it's funny because everyone universally hates that dumbbell treasure in Pikmin 2. Because it's BS in Pikmin 2. Because you can't even get 100 purple Pikmin through normal means. Like, you have to, like, re-enter a cave, I think, at least once. Assuming you don't lose any purple Pikmin. So, the fact that they brought it back... And in this game, I feel like there's less purple Pikmin. I could be wrong on that. But by the time I got there, I had, like, 30 or something. So, maybe I would have had more if I finished some other caves, but, like, yeah. Thankfully, if you have the purple onions, now you can just grow. I just grinded Pikmin from there. And that makes it a little less annoying as a treasure. I think the rewards are good.
At the beginning of every day, you can, like, grind 10 Pikmin for free. Just because there's, like, at the camp. I thought that was funny, but...
It's kind of cute. I honestly didn't even realize that until the end of my game.
Yeah, I never used it just because I'm a hardcore gamer who doesn't use cheats like that. But...
Speaking of things I never used, apparently glow seeds are in the game. Literally never.
Oh, I never used those either.
I never used them once. It's like, oh, if you're in a, isn't it like a cave thing or something like that?
It's cave or in night mode. If you want more glow Pikmin at night mode, you can use them.
It's kind of funny because I was gonna say I was struggling a lot during like the final night mission, but I managed to beat it without using the glow seeds. I felt pretty proud of that, to be honest. But yeah, it's just me.
So I thought you needed the glow seeds in the final boss because there was one phase where he turns green and flies high to
like
the sky.
the red black darkness junk.
Yeah, like, well, he's green at one point and he like flies. So I was like, okay, I need glow Pikmin to fight him. Like, this is the element that glow Pikmin are supposed to fight. So I took out a bunch of glow Pikmin seeds at that point because I thought I had to. I also used some in the final night level because I'm a bad gamer. So I thought glow Pikmin were a requirement during the final boss, so I used them there.
They are not.
So I don't know how you beat it. Otherwise, I lost like 100 Pikmin to that boss during that glow phase. By the way, at one point.
I actually managed to beat it without it, but the electric one destroyed all my Pikmin. To be honest, the electric phase looked rough, but I did manage to do it first try. I was kind of popping off a little bit in the chat. That was a good final boss. I actually like that final boss a lot, personally.
What do you think about it, Dex? What do you think about the final boss?
Yeah, I think it was pretty good. I don't think I actually lost many Pikmin to it, but it was good that there was a boss that was like new and had multiple phases to deal with, and
yeah,
it was harder than all the other bosses in the game by a landslide.
True. It was actually like a boss that required effort to beat, which I appreciated.
I think it was like the only like Pikmin 3 scale boss in that game.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
Because that is a complaint a lot of people have with Pikmin 3 bosses. Like, the bosses in Pikmin 4, or they have with the Pikmin 4 bosses, is they're not as wide in scope as Pikmin 3. Which, I get. The only thing I don't like about the Pikmin 3 bosses, and this has always been my problem with them, is they take multiple days to beat sometimes. Like, let's say you go in to a Pikmin 3 boss, and it's like, you're halfway through the day, right? For me, a lot of the times I would have to like go back the second time, and the bosses, their health is still lowered. Or let's say you beat the boss, but you have like barely any time left in your day because the boss takes so long, and then you have to like go back in the next day and climb all the way back. I guess that's more of a Pikmin 3 discussion than a Pikmin 4 discussion, but that's some. I guess I'm using it to back up my point why the short bosses in Pikmin 4 didn't really bother me that much. I don't know.
I thought the bosses were actually way too easy to cheese though. Like, even ignoring the items, which like completely make him irrelevant. Like it was still way too easy to just charge his Ochi and kill him in like 0.2 seconds.
Yeah,
It's
you
kind
have like 10 ice Pikmin and the charge plus freeze
yeah.
combo.
Like it kind of made me sad because those bosses during the final cave, I'm like, this would be like an insane boss if it was in Pikmin 2. Like this would be legendary, and then you just like beat it in 1 second. It's
Oh,
like, oh
like
well,
the Empress
bye.
Bullblacks in the last cave.
Yeah, in like the like pit,
That was
like the
cool. That
swamp.
was so
like
cool.
I'm like, if I was playing that in Pikmin 2, that'd be insane. But the fact that I'm in this game, I can beat it in like 2 seconds.
The Pikmin, the Empress Bullblacks fight where you had to like switch between geysers was like one of the coolest moments of the game for me. I don't know if you guys felt that same way.
Yeah, I tried to beat it without items like 10 tries and I couldn't beat it. And I was like, wait, I can just use an ice bomb.
I
Yeah, that's the
didn't.
sad part. The items are like really overpowered. I didn't even use them that
bomb
often.
rocks, besides bomb rocks, I didn't use items. I used bomb rocks for like walls and stuff.
The shock one is really bad. Like it literally just makes every boss a one shot.
I never
Not
used
even-
that one personally.
I used it a couple times.
I think one boss the boss that felt like Pikmin 2 to most to me was, I don't know what it's called, but like the disco spider,
The groovy, whatever it's
Oh.
called.
groovy long legs, I think.
Yeah. That boss
That-
seemed kind of BS. I ended up just choosing it.
That boss was BS, and it felt right at home with Pikmin 2 in my opinion. Because I was like, oh, this isn't fair. Okay, I'm playing Pikmin 2 again.
I wish more of the game was kind of Pikmin 2-esque, to be honest. 'Cause
That
I
was
feel
the
it could
most
be a lot
Pikmin
more
2
memorable, personally. But
And the groovy long legs had this like, crazy music to it, which was like, I've never heard a song like that in like a Nintendo game, let alone Pikmin.
The air horns. Yeah.
So that was cool. I like that boss. That boss was a highlight to me personally. And what's funny is in the trailers, right? They show that boss off like in the trailers, and I'm like, oh, that's like a super early game boss, right? That's like a boss you would probably, because Nintendo doesn't show spoilers. That's like a boss in like the second to last or last world, I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was in the third, like
Well-
behind the sandcastle. I don't remember though.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I
But-
just said something completely wrong. It's possible, but
But it wasn't right at the beginning like you would expect.
like I expected it to be like, yeah. I guess my point is I expected it to be like World 1 or World 2, but it's pretty far in. It caught me off guard. But yeah, a lot of bosses can be cheesed. Like I was kind of sad because the man at legs, which was like such a big threat in Pikmin 2, such a genuine, scary, difficult boss, is pretty damn easy in this game. Like, you fight him a few times. In the second, the other times are not that hard, but are a little harder. But the first time around, for instance, like you can just spam like purples and you'll be fine, probably. I'm trying to think of like other bosses in this game. It's hard because I feel like there's not a lot of like memorable bosses. Honestly, a lot of them are just Pikmin 2 bosses. And then there's like
Yeah.
a few original ones, but I don't remember that many of them because,
Oh, there's like a flying ice
yeah,
moth thing that was. You just had to like warm up the room.
that was memorable. That was kind of like
that moth boss was good. I like that boss.
It's not really like a Pikmin 3 boss, but it was kind of in that vein. It kind of reminded me of that one moth you had to fight in the caves with the electricity in Pikmin 3.
I just
You know what I'm
appreciate
talking
the
about?
required strategy. I think the one thing I appreciate it felt like it was more of like a puzzle to beat the boss, which I think is what 4 really should have focused on. If it wasn't gonna be more so about like the actual fighting of the boss, I think it should have been a lot more like that overall.
Yeah.
personally.
I think 4 is interesting because they take kind of an like the caves. It's tough to say because I feel like a lot of this game is combat, which is a shame because the game is easy. But I really feel like that they should have focused more on puzzle solving. Like I love the conveyor puzzles, I love the buttons, I love the fans. Like that to me feels like Pikmin, like the Pikmin 1, like kind of like the Pikmin 1 puzzle where you have to have all 3 types. And in the Forest Navel, or like the Pikmin 2, the scale puzzle, or like the Pikmin 3 scale puzzle, even though you could cheese that one, but whatever. Like I like those moments, like those kind of like Mario and Donkey Kong-esque moments where it's like you have to, change the conveyor belts, and you have to, time your button presses. I like stuff like that. I wish the game did more of it because I think it would have helped with the this game is too easy problem.
It does feel weird to focus on combat when that's like easily the most gimped part of the game. To be honest, it is a weird choice in my opinion.
Yeah, like I'm being generous when I say this. This is pretty generous, but I'd say 75% of the gameplay is combat.
Yeah, the problem is that the combat is literally just charging as Ochi. That's like literally the combat in the game because you're not gonna do anything else really. Once it's a flying enemy, then you just throw like one ice Pikmin at it, and then you're good. Usually one is two.
What did you guys think about Ochi? I guess we could talk about Ochi. It's only 15 minutes into this episode.
I like the dog thing. It's cute, but the problem is that it makes the Pikmin gameplay loop like way too easy, in my opinion. Like you don't like it, the one thing about 2 is that you need to like crowd control. You can't just like you need to actively think about where your Pikmin are on the field at all time in order to not get them like all crushed by like a water reef or something. But in 4 you could just go on Ochi, so boom, you're like you don't have to worry about that at all.
Yeah.
So I feel
It's
it
like
kinda
the
takes that away.
C-stick, like Pikmin movement functionality. I think that's a nice part of Ochi, like a somewhat balanced part that I liked. Because later on you do get like the C-stick thing, and you have to like hold the camera button and I don't know.
I personally thought Ochi was a little bit too broken, in my opinion. Like I don't know. I like the mechanic. I just feel like they didn't really balance it in any way to make it not feel broken. So.
I do like the idea of like half Captain, half Pikmin, kinda, but
That's
yeah,
how
it
I
was
felt
just-
about it. Yeah.
It would have been cool. I just feel like it's a little bit too easy to cheese the entire system.
It is. Ochi's charge is very broken. I don't mind actually that Pikmin clump up on him. I don't. It actually doesn't bother me that much. Because in Pikmin 2, for instance, like I remember, especially when you get the like late game speed power ups, like your Pikmin are always so far behind you. Like if you have purple leaf Pikmin, even like purple flower Pikmin, even with normal speed, they're like 10 miles behind you. Then you gotta like move, stop. There's like a term for that AVGN used a lot. I don't remember what it is, but like that's like a thing he would always point out in his videos. You have to like move, stop, wait for them to catch up, move, stop, wait for them to catch up. And Ochi kind of at least mitigates that. Now the problem is it basically makes flower Pikmin less useful. Like, yes, they are better in combat, but who cares? The combat's easy.
Well, that and the fact that you can literally just get flower Pikmin by using the red potion.
Yeah.
So, that also kind of takes away from that.
See, here's the thing, right? If it was just one thing, like let's say it was just Ochi's charge, I don't think this game would be too easy. But it's like you got the red sprays, you got Ochi's charge, you got ice Pikmin, you got purple Pikmin, you have all the items, you have the rewind system, you have so much helping you out in this game. So much that literally you cannot lose. You can't lose. Like unless you are purposely going out of your way, you will not lose this game.
There's literally no way to die unless you go out of your way to do so. It's just not possible.
The only thing I can think of, and me and Ninja have floated this idea before of doing like a race of this, would be like a Pikmin 4 no upgrades run. I'd be very curious to see how that plays out.
We should do no upgrades, no Ochi. I think that'd be a fun run.
Well, you need Ochi for stuff.
Well, except required moments, Like
it would have to be.
Charging, I guess.
Oh, you need like the
Chargeless
flame suit
run.
at one point.
I think we should call it the chargeless run. Be the way I would describe it.
That'd be cool.
Like you also can't use the Ochi charge.
Do you need the flame suit at some point, Dex?
Do you? I
Oh,
don't remember needing it.
not for Olimar, but to go into one of the caves in the kitchen, it's like on the stovetop.
Oh, do you actually need the suit for it?
Yeah, because I didn't have it at that point. But
Oh.
Rip.
Well, I mean, if it's just like a basic run, right? Like
Well,
you're
it's
just
also
going
not
for like
100%.
Yeah.
So you don't technically need it for that then.
So we'd be fine. If for 100%, yeah, that probably wouldn't be possible. Then again, like if you're going for 100% anyway, you would kind of need all the suits anyway to get true 100%. So it doesn't matter too much. But it would be an interesting race. It would be a very interesting race. I'd be very curious to see how it plays out. My prediction is the game, I think, would still be too easy because you have ice Pikmin and you have purple Pikmin. Right? And like the amount of damage enemies take, it goes down so fast.
oh yeah, they do not have a lot of health. Like I just watch speedruns of Pikmin games every now and then, and like just like the snitch bugs that fly around have so much health in Pikmin 1 and 2 compared to 3 and 4. It's just like all the enemies have just so little health in this game. But I will
Pikmin
say, I
1.
think
Mhm.
purple Pikmin only do like 1.5 times damage. Like it's equal to red in Pikmin 4.
Really? I
So
didn't know
it's
that
not like
actually.
insane in the membrane, but
Well, I'm glad you told me that before I recorded that part of the script. So, thank you.
well, I don't know if that is 100% true. That's
I'll
I
look it
saw a
up.
video of like in the Picklepedia, you can like just throw Pikmin at enemies.
Yeah.
It took them like the same time the red Pikmin and purple Pikmin to like kill an enemy. So that's what they thought. So
That's intriguing.
Interesting.
But it does still have the stun, I think. So
yeah. And then ice Pikmin, pink and white all do half damage. So I mean ice Pikmin it's definitely needed, but
White Pikmin always did half damage, I think. Okay, one thing that really bothers me, this is a small nitpick. I don't know if anyone else cares. Why does every Pikmin type unbury treasure now? Like, why did they remove that from White Pikmin?
probably because they gave White Pikmin more functionality in the end game. That's my only guess.
But like,
yeah,
was that needed?
like
No.
white Pikmin in Pikmin 2, they were just like I don't want to say like jack of all trades, master of none, but they just had a lot of weird, strange like abilities, like
Yeah.
utilities, I guess. And I guess they just wanted to give it more to the rest of the Pikmin.
Yeah, like White Pikmin in this game are basically like the red and yellow Pikmin equivalent, right? Like they're, when you see an element, you need them. There was the poison element in 2, but it was kind of half. Yeah, you're right. It was like not that prevalent. So it was just annoying to me as a veteran because I didn't know they made that change. I don't remember anyone telling me in the game they made that change. So I was like, I think I was playing with Ninja in voice chat, and I was like, oh well, this is a buried treasure. I guess I can't come back until I need White Pikmin. And then Ninja's just
I
like,
did that too in the Bull Black's cave.
I don't remember what it was, but it was like I was like, oh well, too bad I can't do it. And then Ninja's like, dude, every Pikmin unburies treasure now. I'm like, what? When did that happen?
Yeah. I had to give them the bad news.
And I feel like a heads up, would have been maybe that was a thing in Pikmin 3. I honestly don't remember.
Was there buried treasure in Pikmin 3?
I don't
They were all
remember.
like half uncovered at least.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
And yellow Pikmin, by the way, I don't know why. They can they can dig up treasures faster. What a weird and random trait.
Really?
Did you guys know
That's funny.
that? Did you guys know that
Yeah,
yellow Pikmin
they're like-
dig up treasures faster?
Yeah. I forget the exact number, but
I just know that Ochi can, so I always use Ochi whenever I need that ability.
yeah, I
Yes.
came in using some of the what's it called?
Dandori
Not the
stuff, yeah.
Dandori, the challenges, yeah. To get
Yeah.
platinum.
Which feels a little like I think the problem is with Ochi as well is like the pup drive system. Like, I wish that didn't apply in Dandori challenges and battles, because I found it very frustrating that I could go in and Ochi like would be able to do 100, like lift 100 strength, right? And so the sneak bomb, for instance, in the battles, I always would win because of that. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like the Ochi power-up shouldn't have applied. Like, you don't go in with your Pikmin, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
Yeah, and then Moss did like scale up, but I don't know, they don't make good use of Moss. The AI isn't amazing.
I don't know about you guys, but I beat every Dandori battle, like, first try.
Oh yeah. I didn't even know this, but apparently if you lose a Dandori battle, you can like there's like an option to get help and then Dingo just beats it for you.
What? There's a beat
just-
the game button in
Oh my
Pikmin 4, like a Monkey Ball Banana Blitz. I mean, not Banana Blitz, Venomania? Really? That's actually hilarious.
Like, it's
Yeah,
not
they
even
use
like
it in the speedrun a lot. It's
like it just
Yeah.
beats it. You're saying it just beats the whole thing?
yeah, it doesn't give you
Oh.
like your medal, it just shows like Dingo instead of a medal, but
That's really funny.
you can just bypass it.
I didn't know that.
Modern gaming moment in the chat. Let's go, dude. And pop on.
Yeah, I mean, Pikmin 4 to me just feels it's a great game. I consider, okay. Here's a question. Where do you guys rank this among Pikmin games?
I would put it below 1 and 2 personally. That's just me.
Yeah, I definitely have it above 3. 3 is just like my arch nemesis for some reason. But
Sure, Sonic 06.
yeah, I don't know. 3 just had like no content, and then it was really easy. But 4 has a lot more content, and it's easy. So
This is unrelated, but have you heard about the cut Pikmin food level that was uncovered? I don't know
the
if you ever heard
cut
about
what
that.
level?
There's a whole area of Pikmin free that was discovered to exist.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
we can tell you about that after the thing, but yeah, it's very interesting.
It is. Yeah, I feel the same way about Pikmin 3. I want to redo my Pikmin 3 review at some point. When I don't know. I don't have time right now, but
Yeah.
Pikmin 3 I feel like Pikmin 4 is better than Pikmin 3 in every way. I think personally, and this is something I don't think we're going to agree on, but I do consider Pikmin 4, despite its problems, I do consider it the best Pikmin game. And I don't think that's to say Pikmin 4 is perfect. I just think every Pikmin game up to this point has had some kind of flaw to it. And I love Pikmin 1. I can replay that game every day of the week for the rest of my life. I love that game to death. But I do think it suffers from kind of early GameCube syndrome, where kind of like Luigi's Mansion, right? It's a really, really good idea, and it's really fun while you play it, but your time with it is so short, and I think it's not fully polished, and I don't think it's fully realized. It's a great time. I love Pikmin 1. But I feel like the same way I kind of do about Luigi's Mansion with that. I don't know if that's early GameCube syndrome necessarily. Yeah. And then Pikmin 2, I really want to like, but I do mostly like. I love Pikmin 2 still, but I think I prefer Pikmin 4's coherent level designs rather than RNG.
I think that's fair. If you tell me you like Pikmin 1, 2, or 4 the best, like, we can be friends.
Yeah.
If you say 3, we can't be friends.
You guys want to know something? Oh, did my mic unplug?
We can hear you.
Okay.
After you said
the green circle is not showing up. Okay, you want to know something crazy? I'll have to redo this poll, but I did a YouTube community poll a while ago, and I was like, "What's your favorite Pikmin game?" You know what game won? It's Pikmin 3 by quite a bit. I didn't. Now
I'm gonna get so many haters.
To be fair, no, it's okay. I'll get haters too. But to be fair, I have not redone this poll since Pikmin 4 came out, and I probably should. I'm gonna like scroll through and see if I can find this poll. Someone talk about something relevant while I do that.
I will say, like, I think in 3 they added like the go here function, which was really nice for multitasking. Like, I think they added a couple mechanics like that where it's kind of universal, like, good thing, but there's just so little content and little difficulty. It wasn't my thing.
Yeah,
okay.
I can agree. I haven't played up. You found it.
No, you're good. You can finish your thought.
I was just gonna say I played a little bit of free and it seemed kind of like it was okay, but it wasn't the same as when I played 1 or 2 at all.
So, here's the results of the poll. And this blows my mind to this day.
Definitely blast his viewers live on.
So I mean, I'm not roasting anyone. I listen. If anyone's watching this, I'd love to just like hear your thoughts. I won't even be mean. But what's your favorite Pikmin game? 3/3 Deluxe wins with 47% of the vote.
That's ridiculous.
We got Pikmin 2 with 31%. Pikmin 1 with 13%. And one of those votes is mine, by the way. And then Hey Pikmin with 9% of the vote. So Pikmin 1 and Hey Pikmin were 4 percentage points. Maybe, but come on.
That's really, really bad.
And the only thing I can think of is my audience is probably just younger on average, which is not, and there's probably a more nostalgia for Pikmin 3 than we realize by now. And we're just old.
See, I find that hard to believe to some degree because Pikmin 3, it was on the Wii U. It even sold out well on the Wii U. And it was like, it's like what, like 2 million copies or something. Like, that's not that good. I haven't heard to believe that there's like a bazillion people that are deeply nostalgic for Pikmin 3 in particular. I find that kind of hard to believe.
I mean,
personally,
the game sold, I think, 1 million on the Wii U. I could be wrong on that.
but like really, like really.
It is a polished game. Is one thing I will give Pikmin 3 credit for.
I would say it's too polished. But...
It kind of like, and I'm probably gonna get shit for saying this. I mean, I'm gonna get shit for saying this, but it kind of reminds me of like Pokemon Sword and Shield, where it's such
That's
a
an
linear.
insult.
I know it's such a linear, and I'm not saying it's as bad as Sword and Shield. Pikmin 3 is still a good game, but my point is, it feels like a linear, polished, safe experience, like a very sterile, safe experience.
Yeah.
You know.
Like I think there's a point where they like try to take all your juice away, but then like it's just so easy to get more. And it's, I don't know.
And like the whole survival system in Pikmin 3 really doesn't matter. It like if you are struggling to find juice in that game, I don't know what to tell you. Honestly. Like I'm not trying to be mean. I'm sure there are like, you know, children who cannot find juice in that game. So I'm not roasting them. If you're a kid, I'm sure it's hard. But it's like
we are 20-year-old gamers playing a kid's game. We need more difficulty.
The only thing I can think of that 3 did better is the fact that it had difficulty options and 4 didn't. 4 needed difficulty options beyond belief. Like I don't know why I didn't have that.
I really, really want them. So for Metroid Dread, now that game wasn't that easy to begin with. It's, you know, it's a Metroid game. But for Metroid Dread, in a random update like 3 months after the fact, they released, you know, a super hard mode. I really hope they do that for Pikmin 4. I really... Yeah. That game, if Pikmin 4, if it gets a hard mode and it's genuinely hard, I think without a doubt, people will consider it probably the best Pikmin game. I think that will be enough to make it the best Pikmin game universally.
Yeah.
That's my
opinion. Add an option to toggle the auto lock.
God, I hate the auto lock.
What do you mean? The auto lock is a great feature.
Ninja was watching me play with the auto lock.
I had issues with auto lock, but personally,
I feel like that kind of adds to like the easiness because you can just like instantly kill dwarf bulborbs and stuff. But sometimes you just like
In my opinion, there should be a hard mode where they remove the auto lock and replace it with the regular, what's it called? The C stick function when you originally replace
remove the charge as well. Just make the charge, remove the charge, and put the swarm back, because the swarm was like, I think people don't. I can make a whole video on this, but I think people don't realize how good the swarm function was in Pikmin. How smart it was. I know it sounds like a small thing, but I really think it was like a huge deal in the old Pikmin games. Like, it was not overpowered, really, but it was just a very unique way to interact and use your Pikmin that was balanced. It was actually balanced, in my opinion. Whereas a charge, you press one button, and your Pikmin just win. You know, in a swarm, there is strategy with how you maneuver your Pikmin. You know, what order they're kind of facing in the charge. Like, there is strategy with it. I'm not going to say it's, like, an insane amount of strategy, but it's better than the charge, in my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. There's, like, some enemies, like the mushroom, that jump check you for just using the C-stick. Yeah.
And, you know, like, the charge breaks a lot of, like, flying enemies, for instance. Like, if you have winged Pikmin with you, you just press X, and, like, the flying enemy dies. You know, in Pikmin 1, when there's flying enemies, you know, tough luck. You gotta use yellow Pikmin at least. So that's just my opinion. But, and you know what's funny? The swarm is in this game. The swarm exists, but they lock it behind a treasure set you can't complete until the final cave.
I find that actually ridiculous. Like why is it even unlockable in that manner if you're just gonna not let you unlock it to, like, if they gave it a new game plus mode, it would almost be okay, but it doesn't. So you literally just get like teased basically. It's like, yeah, you get this ability you want at the very, 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 very end of the game. It's like, okay, thank you, great job, guys.
In Almar's Tale, I think you can get it pretty. It's like one of the first couple treasures you get in that, but
yeah, but you can only use it in that mode.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
So
exactly.
it's like great.
I didn't even know about that, honestly, but...
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't even notice, to be honest.
Because you have to press, L. You have to,
the only
like,
reason I
hold the L
noticed is
button
because
down.
I watch speedruns all the time, so...
I figured it out because I vaguely knew about it existing.
I didn't know about it. See, someone spoiled it early on. Someone was like, when they played the demo, they're like, oh, the swarm is in this game. So I just assumed it was like an upgrade. That, like, you know, how the charge is an upgrade. I didn't know they were just like data mining, or maybe they were just, you know, full of crap to begin with. I don't know. Not roasting anyone here, but so I thought it was just like not in the game, and I was like, oh, it is in the game, but I didn't get it in the main mode until I beat the game basically. So, thanks, I guess.
Yeah. And then I think I mentioned earlier, it would have been nice to have another world, or at least in the overworld, have enemies respawn so you can use those items or new upgrades a couple
Yeah.
times on enemies.
The enemies not respawning is really disappointing in my opinion.
It just
Like-
makes the game even easier.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I,
and
I'm
it
not
kind
a
of takes
fan
away
of it.
from the tone of the natural world. It's like, I will say, like, the last world, it's kind of nice to be like, oh, it was just like this gross poisonous swamp and you kind of clear it out. But all the
Yeah.
other ones, it's just kind of empty now and it's weird.
Like in Pikmin 2, this is another like small niche Pikmin topic I could probably make a video on, but I love in Pikmin 1 and 2 how it's like you come back to a world and not only will enemies have reappeared in Pikmin 2, there's like new enemies the farther you get along. Like in Pikmin 2 at the perplexing pool, I forget which day it is, but bull bears start showing up, right? And on day 30, I'm pretty sure beady longlegs will even fall from the sky on like day 30. It's like,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
it's little cute things like that, but it's also just like, you know, it feels like a breathing world, right? Like, okay, you cleared out the enemies, but now they've, you know, repopulated or whatever, and now the enemies are back. And, you know, now it's just like, just you know, you clear out a world and it's just dead. Like, it's just completely dead. At least in the caves, the enemies respawn if you clear it out, but like, come on.
I don't know. Pikmin used to really like have this balance between being like this beautiful, serene world and also being like kind of a hellscape. But I feel like it worked because it was a good mix. Like it was well balanced. But I feel like in 40 it's kind of like just took away all of it. You know? I feel like you're just left with just like, oh, it's just like the world part. And even then, I feel like even the world design isn't as iconic as it was originally, in my opinion.
Here's
So
what
it's kinda-
here's what I'll say. I make this comparison in the Pikmin 4 video a few times. That Pikmin 4 reminds me of Banana Mania, Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, quite a bit, which is not a compliment, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not.
Here's what I'll say. Banana Mania is a flawed. It has a basis of a good game, but it's flawed. But it was like 2 updates away from probably arguably being the best Monkey Ball games. Like 2 solid updates that really fixed the flaws and really got in there and just they could have. They had the basis to make it the best Monkey Ball game easily.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But they didn't. They didn't update it once. They've released it. They moved on. They wiped their hands clean. They didn't care. People from the main teams left, but I'm just going to roast them anyway because I'm toxic. So
I think it's still warranted there.
it's still warranted
Yeah.
because the game was not released in a finished state. Now, Pikmin 4, I don't think is as bad in terms of, it's a finished game. It's finished. It's functional. It works, blah, blah, blah. But it's in that same category where it's like, if they give this game like one solid update where they just give it a hard mode, I think universally this will be considered the best Pikmin game, assuming the hard mode is, actually hard.
Yeah, like actually respawn the enemies, limit or remove the charge, like just make it a bit more like regular, run-of-the-mill Pikmin gameplay than it is right now. I think would be a great change, to be honest.
And I'm really hoping they do that update because it happens with the Nintendo games all the time. Like, where it's just some it's like a year. You're like a year since the game released, and it's like, here's this random update. Like, Xenoblade 3 got like this random quest added to it like a few months ago because the Pyra and Mithra amiibo came out. They just added like this like weird character that wasn't even in the game. It's like, here's a free quest, or here's a weird side mode in Metroid Dread. Here's even before the booster course, here's some random Mario Kart 8 update. You know what I mean? Like, they do it. Nintendo does it. They have a pattern of just adding random crap and making a game better. Will they do it for Pikmin 4? No one knows. They should. I hope they do.
I hope they do too.
So, I mean, I think we're pretty close to wrapping this up. Do you guys have any like final thoughts here?
I don't know, Monkey Ball better than Pikmin. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I think Pikmin 4 is a fun game. I just think it's more so that we have issues with it that could very easily be solved, and if they did get solved, just made the game even better, to be honest. Because I liked my Pikmin 4 playthrough. It's just that didn't stop the fact that these things still bothered me the entire time. You know, it's mostly
Yeah.
just like those kind of things that are just in the back of your head, like, man, this game would be even better if I could play it, in a hard mode or something. Because I feel like that would really cater to me more. Because I'm sure there's plenty of people that played the game and thought it was like the best game ever, the best Pikmin game ever. Like, that's fine. It's just, it just kind of feels weird for someone who really liked Pikmin 2 and 1 to kind of play the game and be like, oh, it's clearly targeting a different audience completely.
Yeah, and I feel like there was like a lot of fan service to Pikmin 1
Yeah.
and 2, especially 2, but the gameplay and
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a little different, a little modernized, modern Nintendo.
Yep. What I'll say is this. What I'll leave it with this. I will consider this the best Pikmin game, but there's something that Pikmin 1 and 2 have that Pikmin 4 just will never have, and that is I can replay Pikmin 1 and 2 all the time, and I feel like I will have at least somewhat of a different experience. Like in Pikmin 1, I don't speedrun that game, so it's like every time I play it, for me, I'm always trying to figure out how to optimize my route better. Like I don't know the optimal route, so it's like my own personal, how many days can I beat this in? Like there is a replayability aspect with it. With Pikmin 2, like every playthrough is literally different because of the caves. Now that's for better or for worse, but it is replayable. Pikmin 4, I love that game. I'm sure I'll give it a replay at some point, but it doesn't have that replayability for me. Like I don't really foresee myself turning it on again and saying like I'm gonna have a new Pikmin 4 experience. Like I'll replay it when I feel like replaying it, but that's something Pikmin 2 has that just Pikmin 4 will not have. It just does not have, and I think that's probably what I'll take away the most from Pikmin 4 as a whole. Is I think objectively it's the best game personally, but it's not gonna have that same hook Pikmin 1 and 2 have, and it just won't unless they add a hard mode, which I don't think they will, but who knows.
Yeah, I think the only way I replay this game is if they do give an update, or if I just want to like do some kind of speed run, or just rush whites and purples so I can play the rest of the game with them or something like that.
I want to do the challenge. My only replay thing right now is I really want to do the challenge mode where you get no upgrades and stuff. That's what I want to do. If that happens, I'll replay that. I think that'd be a fun little, but it's like a personal challenge. It's hard to. Like,
I do want to do that with you. I think that'd be a fun race.
That'd be fun. But for now, I think we're calling this here. Do you guys have any other things you want to say? Any other final thoughts?
Where's Bulb been?
It is stupid that they're not in the game. It is stupid beyond belief. But that's a rant in the video. I'll keep some things a spoiler.
Yeah, the thing I can think
of. Dex, where can people find your channels or channel?
Oh, well, I stream sometimes on Twitch, Dex513, and that's mostly just me playing Mario Sunshine. So if that fancies you, that's where I am. But that's about it.
And I'm sure my audience knows where you could find Ninja by now, but Ninja, if you want to say your spiel.
You can find me on Mixer. Okay, I'm joking. I'm on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. I'm not really on Twitch that much actually. I actually stream on my second channel on YouTube now, technically, but I don't really do streams. So if you want to see me stream, I will be there. I might stream today actually. That might sound fun. I might do it after this thing is recorded.
Yeah, and we're about to be done. So have fun with your stream. Yeah. And thank you, Dex.
No one watching this will see it, but it's cool.
Yeah, this will be out like in a month, but it'll be out earlier on my Patreon because I want people who want to hear my Pikmin 4 thoughts early. They get a little reward. So there you go. Thank you, everyone, and bye. Good ending.